This video is going to be a little bit different than my last one. Today, I want to talk about my favourite film ever made, Interstellar. Not what I think the greatest film ever made is, my favourite, because those two things aren't always the same. Sure, there are films with tighter scripts, better dialogue, better performances, but no film has ever really made me feel the way Interstellar does. So before some people get mad at me or tell me there's better films out there, let me just explain myself. At first glance, Interstellar's a space movie, a last-ditch effort to save humanity from their end and head out into the stars. But to me, that's never really what it's been about. Interstellar's about love. It's about how love defies all boundaries, like space, like time. And to me, that's where the beauty in this film really lies. It's what puts it above anything else I've ever seen. I think people often forget that it's not purely just a space movie with mind-blowing visuals. And don't get me wrong, it is. But at its heart, it's a story about a father trying to keep a promise to his daughter. And it's hard for me to put into words why exactly that makes it better. It's a feeling, I guess, the emotions I get when I watch it, emotions so many other films failed to meet the standards of. In the film we follow Cooper, a former NASA pilot turned farmer on a dying, resource-depleted Earth. After discovering a gravitational anomaly in his home, he follows decoded coordinates to what remains of NASA. Once there, he's approached by Dr. Brand with a mission to save the world, and he ultimately decides to embark with a small crew across the stars, leaving his 2 children behind. If you've seen a Christopher Nolan film before, you'll know he has a fascination with time. Time is used as the villain in this movie, but also somehow its saviour. I mean, the first planet we even go to, Miller's planet, it's the first time the film makes time feel tangible. Until now it's just been a scientific concept, but now the stakes are real. Every hour is 7 years passing back on Earth. And after the waves hit, time suddenly becomes something the audience can feel.
Hey, someone's down.
45 to an hour.
Yeah. This stuff alive, huh? What's this gonna cost us, Brain?
A lot. Decades.
2 hours doesn't sound like much until it cost Cooper 23 years of his life with his children. And McConaughey exhibits raw emotional turmoil as he watches his son grow up and live his life without him. Getting married, having kids, even losing a child. It's one of the cruelest punishments because, unlike death, those years still happened. They just happened without him. We also get his daughter Murph's first message since he left. She tells him that she's now his age and wishes he'd come back. And this scene for me is the highlight of the film. And it's a truly human scene, you really feel for all the characters involved. It's one of the hardest choices a character's had to make in film, to leave your children behind knowing you'll never see them again in order to save them from extinction. Off the back of this, on heightened emotions, Cooper lashes out at Brand, played by Anne Hathaway, for her love of one of the Lazarus mission astronauts, Edmund. Up until this point, Cooper has treated love as something that distracts us from making rational decisions. And Brand challenges that idea completely. She argues that maybe love isn't irrational at all. Maybe it's something we evolved for a reason. Maybe it's even something that points us towards the people we're meant to find.
Love is the one thing we're capable of perceiving that transcends dimensions of time and space. Maybe we should trust that, even if we can't understand it yet.
Brand's desire to see Edmund again is part of what makes this mission so meaningful for her. And in that same way, Coop's desire to see his children again is what makes it so meaningful for him. It's during these scenes we begin intercutting with present-day Earth from Murph's, now played by Jessica Chastain's, perspective, now attempting to finish Brand's work in Gravity. And to me, Murph represents the good nature of humanity, perseverance and integrity despite all odds being against you. Her efforts are constantly juxtaposed, with doubt of the impossible or fears of whether her fathers abandoned her and condemned humanity to their end. But if Murph's the good nature of humanity, I think man is the evil nature. His cowardice is fueled by his instinct to survive. While dedicated to a greater mission, his ego encourages him to make selfish decisions, making an attempt on Cooper's life as he pirates their ship. And in this moment, man explains to Cooper that our survival instincts push us past our limits. That when he's taking his final breaths, his brain will push to see his children again.
Do you see your children? It's okay. They're right there with you.
And while these words are somewhat nice and comforting to a dying man, it's here we see man for what he really is, a coward. But, let me be clear, man isn't a monster. He's a warning. He's what happens when we lose hope. And throughout the film, Cooper's decisions are driven by love, and man's are driven by fear. And Interstellar spends nearly 3 hours showing us which of those is ultimately stronger. Man's fear even becomes his downfall. His desperation to survive blinds him to the reality around him. And in one final act of arrogance, he attempts to dock with the Endurance himself. And I think it's one of the most shocking moments of the film. Not because of the explosion itself, but because it's inevitable. It's a conclusion of everything man represents. Fear, pride, self-preservation at the expense of everyone else. Another thing I want to point out about this film is the music. I think music plays such a huge role in the storytelling of this film. Music across cinema is often used as a way to encourage specific emotions that the audience can really resonate with. And I think Hans Zimmer does himself here, with arguably, in my opinion, the magnum opus of his career, No Time for Caution. The docking sequence to me will always stand the test of time. There's barely any dialogue, just Zimmer's score, the silence of space, and Cooper doing the impossible.
Okay, get ready to match our span with the retro thrusters.
It's not possible.
No, it's necessary.
And I think it's a scene that perfectly sums up Cooper's character. What's driven him the whole way till now. Not an obligation to NASA, or some abstract mission to save humanity. He's acting because every second matters. Because there's a chance he gets to see his daughter one more time. Until finally, we're at the climax of the film. Now, I want to point out, at the time of its release, many critics argued that this moment is what took Interstellar from a science movie to a fantasy. The Tesseract sequence is largely controversial, and many people complain that it's too complicated to understand or feeling that it's out of place within the rest of the film. And I think that's where a lot of people misunderstand the film. While Interstellar is based in real theoretical science, Nolan never expects the audience to understand it. To say something is too complicated to comprehend what's happening is a blatant misunderstanding of the point of this film. You're not meant to leave as a theoretical physicist. You're meant to feel what the characters feel. To me, the Tesseract was never about explaining black holes. It exists for one reason: to allow a father who ran out of time one final chance to speak to his daughter. And everything comes full circle. The ghost, the books, the dust, the watch, every mystery from the beginning of the film was never some supernatural force. It was Cooper.
Once you're a parent, you're the ghost of your children's future.
And the film often alludes to these greater beings guiding humanity to their salvation, and here Cooper finally understands his purpose, why he was even here in the first place. Murph. She was always the one to save humanity, and that somewhere, somehow, in the distant future, what becomes of humanity secures their future in her. Earlier in the film, Brand asks whether love is something we simply invented, or whether it's something real, something that transcends dimensions we can't yet understand. The ending doesn't answer that question with dialogue, it answers it with action. Cooper reaches Murph across galaxies, across decades, across time itself. And not because he's somehow stronger than physics, but because his love for her never disappears. When Cooper finally wakes up and sees Murph again, it's one of the most emotional endings I've ever seen. Not because they finally reunite, while that is heartwarming to see, but because they don't need to. Murph doesn't ask him to stay, she tells him to go. She knows there's nothing else left for him there. She tells him to go because she knows he kept his promise. He came back.
Nobody believed me, but I knew he'd come back.
How?
Because my dad promised me.
After everything they'd lost, after decades apart, after planets, black holes, entire lifetimes, he came back. And while doing my research and thinking this film over in my head, I don't think there's a better way to describe that relationship than a verse from 1 Corinthians 13. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. And to me, that's Interstellar. Love bears the weight of impossible choices. It believes even when there's no evidence left to believe. It hopes when every logical answer says hope is gone. It endures across galaxies, across decades, across time itself, and in the end, it never ends. And that, to me, is Interstellar. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe. I've got more things coming out on the way, so look out for those. I'll be talking about the Odyssey very soon here on the channel. But until then, I'll see you all on the next one. Take care.